Let's talk about what the effect that star power has with political science professor at Princeton, Dr. Lauren Wright, who's back up late with me here on the Final Five. And it's always good to see you. Welcome back.
Thanks, Jim. Nice to see you, too.
I use the word star power because you wrote a book about this shortly after President Trump was elected in 2016. And look, I think when you look at the endorsements he was making towards the end of this campaign, including the likes of Dr. Oz, who, by the way, still has not won that election, although he is in the lead by about 1,500 votes, it seems like it's all about getting on TV and being able to get out there. And I think that attracts the former president to these candidates.
There are so many celebrities running. And so, I actually think the Trump endorsement effect has been exaggerated somewhat. He's been in politics at the national level long enough now that we see some of his candidates win, some of them lose, and sometimes it depends on who the opponents are, how large the field is, and what the local dynamics are on the ground. However, it's really hard to deny that when you have this razor-thin Senate election in Pennsylvania, there's 3 novices running and Trump endorses the celebrity candidate because he perhaps sees a little bit of himself in him. He even said when he announced his support for Oz, he had a very popular TV show. So Trump seems to be endorsing the celebrities, even if his fame is not transferable. All of these candidates have a lot of Trump attributes.
Especially, too, when you look at that race, and I will say, having been back in PA and seeing Lauren, I don't know, I know out in Jersey, if you get a lot of these PA stations where it was just nonstop advertisements for the Pennsylvania Senate race out there. David McCormick, his wife, Dina Powell, worked for Donald Trump. She was a very powerful official, and he said, I'm going to go this direction here. Let's talk about another name there, Madison Cawthorn, where this guy, he kept tripping over himself on the way with things that he said, things that he did. Former President Trump last minute had said, let's not judge him on it, give him another chance. But again, it was a razor-thin margin there.
Well, the hardest election to win, besides the very first House seat, if you're a newcomer to Congress, is your next election 2 years later, because voters are really judging, did we make the right decision by putting this person into power? And in a House race, party support from, either a lack thereof from the McConnell wing of the party, or, perhaps other factions can make a big difference. And so those races are a little bit easier for shifts to occur in that very first term.
And we talk about that. A couple of weeks ago, we had some other races, and it really, you mentioned the Trump effect, whether it was exaggerated or not. But he really did a victory lap early on with that Ohio Senate seat where J.D. Vance, again, somebody who has never served in public office before, somebody who I believe could probably pick up the phone and be on Fox News within 15 minutes. The former president saw something there and liked that. But not only that, was somebody who wrote a book that was adapted into a movie, which seems almost anathema to what many Republicans want to see in their candidates, somebody with that little bit of a Hollywood connection there.
Yes. And so, I've heard some analysts say, well, J.D. Vance isn't too much of a celebrity. It's mostly liberals that read his book anyway. That's not really the point. The point is, like you said, the media attention and the fundraising connections. And so sometimes when Trump endorses a candidate like Vance, they also have these other advantages that maybe would have propelled them to victory anyway, like late fundraising and news media attention right when people are paying the most attention.
So this makes a difference or if it makes a difference in primaries, that's one thing. But it's, you're really appealing to your base there. That's what the primaries are about. Then you have to win in a general election. And there's going to be a lot of attention paid. Pennsylvania, many people think that could go either way at this point. You have an incredibly popular Democratic Lieutenant Governor, John Fetterman, who won every single county in the Democratic primary. But issues matter along the way. And whether it's the topic of guns, which is coming back into focus after Buffalo, whether it's abortion rights, which clearly we're going to get some more clarity on that in the next couple of weeks. Does that celebrity effect really fade off? Or is it going to be these hot button issues that drive voters to the polls?
Yes, it will be issues. And so, what's interesting about Dr. Oz, if he does end up winning, is that the criticism of him is he's a Hollywood liberal, he's a rhino, he's really just a Democrat in disguise. Well, that ability to seem perhaps more like someone that a Democratic voter could identify with or agree with might help him in a general election. But I do think it's an uphill battle. Like you said, Fetterman won by such a sizable margin. He's very popular, but Biden is not. And so this will be a race where it matters that Democrats are in control and people are not happy with the way things are going, but it's still an uphill battle for a Republican candidate endorsed by Trump.
All right. Well, we're going to see how that all shakes out over the next couple of weeks. I know it's been a while since we saw you, and I wanted to tell you, I saw you do a little stint on The View a couple of months ago. But I'm telling you, we were so proud of you because you are a friend here at Fox 5, and you know it's always.
I am. Thank you.
And it's always.
Oh, that's so nice.
And it's always
Thank
good
you,
to
Jim.
just have the idea that you have to accept. I've said this about that show before, is that you representing all of America and everybody. You have to understand as a society that we have to allow different voices at the table. And I think that's the important thing to put out there. And you brought it for sure.
Thank you very much. And I'll have to come see you in D.C. sometime soon. I haven't been down there in a long time.
You've not seen the new studio yet. We got to get you in here. I just see you in the big monitor here. Dr. Laura Wright, good to see you again.
Bye, Jim.
Final Five back after this.